and it's a very good morning to the Gelding on a very wet day in Melbourne. And for that reason, Gelding, and with Sandown being a heavy 8, deciding to go to Morphettville today, cross the border, just like a Victorian horse is crossing the border that you've got an interest in.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. Yes, the horse I've got an interest in was also entered for Sandown, but a trainer has decided to go to Morphettville, where it's the start of the Adelaide Winter Festival, Professor. Very much a wintry day yesterday in Melbourne, and probably continuing on today. So, as you said, a heavy 8 at Sandown, Professor, a slow 5 at Morphettville. A lot of Victorian horses going over to Adelaide for the carnival, and the Group 1 Australasian Oaks today, Professor. And so, yeah, let's go somewhere where there's a bit of a better track and some better jockeys going over there and better horses.
Yes, it certainly made sense to me, Gelding. And as you and I both say, that once the track rating gets past 7, most of the form guides aren't very much help to you, and it becomes more of a lottery than betting on horses usually is.
Just another factor that you've got to weigh in quite heavily, Professor, and sometimes on heavy tracks there's lanes. Develop it maybe better, like as we talk about patterns of racing. Normally at Sandown, it's good to be on pace, but you can come from behind. But today on a heavy track, you might find things sliding down the outside or, making a lot of ground. But we don't know that yet. They might get stuck in the mud out there. Who knows?
Well, we hope not, Gelding. Anyway, when you talk about filters, we've got enough filters already to go through without adding a heavy track to it as well. So,
we consider racing patterns and tracks, Professor, and lanes and everything like that. So,
exactly.
Plenty to talk about.
Exactly. Well, listen, it's going to be a great 4 weeks of racing in Adelaide. Group 1 races each day, so probably something we're going to keep an eye on, especially with the good horses being over there. 9 races on the program today. The first at 12:22. As you said, Gelding, the feature race 7, the Group 1 Australasian Oaks, and it's great to have group racing back. The position of the rail hadn't been released when I checked this morning. One thing, Jamie Carr, the last time she rode in Adelaide, Gelding, rode 5 winners. So I think you and I have got an interest in some horses that Jamie Carr's riding today, and maybe one that she should be riding.
Oh, very good, Professor. Yes, look, just for our listeners, my horse Drop the Mike's racing in race 1. I had suggested to the trainer Jamie Carr may be available.
What was the response to that,
I do notice she hasn't got a ride in the race, but we have Jack Hill back on board after using Ethan Brown in what I probably awarded an award for Ethan Brown's ride on Drop the Mic last time. So she said she was happy to use Jack Hill because he knows the horse. So let's hope. Hopefully with a better ride, we might get a bit of a result in race 1, Professor, with Drop the Mic. But I would suggest maybe a place chance. Maybe a little each way, but more a place chance than a winning chance.
All right,
but
Gelding.
My 2 picks, Professor, I've gone in race 4, horse number 2, a Mick Price, Mick Kent trained horse. Mark Zara has gone over to Adelaide to ride it. Illitation. It's had 1 start, Professor, for 1 win, and it won that race by 6 lengths. So that will do more than happy with that, Professor. Hopefully we will get a little bit better than the 250 on offer in the paper with this field, but let's hope we can start and this horse continues on its way. It looked pretty special in its winning debut, Professor.
Yeah.
So I've gone race 4, number 2, Mick Price, Mick Kent and Mark Zara.
Yeah, Gelding. I had a look at that race this morning, and I did like Elation. I did like one better though. I like Defining, horse 10, trained by the McAvoys. It won its last 2 starts. It won over the distance. Highest rated horse in the field, and in its last race, it beat the toppy in this one, Hop on Harry. So, look, accept your accept your horse, and I think it'll probably win. But if our viewers are looking for a Quinella in that race, they could do worse than going horse 2 and horse 10.
Oh, Defining's definitely the danger, Professor, and as you said, in fine form. You know, when you're trying to pick something to win, you just go on. If that first win hadn't been so impressive, I certainly see Divining as the danger. You know, and there's a couple of other horses there, as you said. Number 1, also number 5, Astromedical. You know, all these horses have got chances, but I think Affiliation, any horse that wins its first start by 6 lengths, Professor, happy to stay with that. We then go to the Oaks itself in race 7, Professor. Again, there's a couple of very, very good horses in this one, but I'm sticking with a horse, My Whisper, trained by Peter and Paul Snowden, and to be ridden by Jamie Carr. Won its last 4, Professor. So, look, it's got this turn of foot over 2,000. Just maybe a bit too good for him, Professor. So hopefully My Whisper and Jamie Carr, round about the $4, Professor. So a very open race, and we can go from there. Look, I find the dangers Minnow, number 8, which I backed in Sydney in the Adrian Knox when it ran 3rd, and then won at Caulfield. Also, Glinter Hope and Barbara. So, look, a very open race 7, but we'll go race 7, number 6, and hope Jamie Carr can have a very good day.
Yeah, Gelding, it won over 1,800 at its last start, and the Snowden seem to be getting it ready for this 2,000 race. You can't beat 4 wins from 5 starts. That was my selection in this race too. Interestingly, though, Gelding, I had a look at the odds today. It started at midweek. It started out at $4.50. It's into $3 this morning. So there's a few people think that it might be successful as well.
The Jamie Carr followers, Professor.
they've all jumped on.
Which is now becoming a factor.
Yes.
You know, like as we discussed with the judge last week, you know, on the show, you know, the value of jockeys. We rate jockeys very highly in the effects that they have on races. As we said, if they ride well, these horses normally go well, but when they don't ride well, that's when they really do affect horses. So let's say Jamie Carr makes a lot less mistakes than a lot of the others. Exactly. And that's why we like her. That's why we follow her. She gives the horses a chance, and that's all you need to. That's all you want from your jockey.
Yep, no doubt, Gelding.
And your tips, Professor?
Yes, Gelding. I'm going later than you. The last 2 races on the program. Race 8, the City of Adelaide Handicap, which is a listed race over 1,400 metres. I like in that race, Gelding, horse 8, Zeust, coming out of barrier 11. It's had 13 starts for 6 wins and 4 placings. So a win rate of 46%, which I like, and a placing rate of 77%. So this horse goes well and will normally finish in the placings. A Zoostar, Gelding.
Everyone's got to have a Zoostar, Professor.
Well, we did.
We did, yes. Wonder what happened there. Anyway, but that's another story.
That's another story.
That's racing.
It's won its last 2 starts, Gelding. It's won over the distance. In its last progression, it had a 3rd over at beaten by Nick Our Star, or Nick Our Spur, who we've been on before. Being ridden by Beren Vorster today and trained by the McAvoys. So McAvoy's in form at the moment. Vorster's got a 19% career win rate. the McAvoys have got a 16% win rate. So I would have thought that at $6 and $1.95, great value for each way punters, Gelding.
Good each way punting. Very much a force. The McAvoys and Voiced are over in Adelaide, Professor.
Exactly right, Gelding, except for this next one. In race 9, the James Squire handicap, benchmark 78 over 1,300 metres. I like on this one, Gelding, horse 7, My Boy Birmingham, coming out of barrier 5. 57% win rate in this one, Gelding, and a 71% place rate. It's coming off a 6-month spell, but it's 1 from 1 for first ups. So it ticks that box.
Yeah.
It's a horse that likes to lead, so hopefully this will be a leading track. Jamie Carr's on board, so she'll certainly attack the race, knowing that. And the McAvoys not using Vorster in this one, but using Jamie Carr.
Nothing wrong with that, Professor.
No. Now, midweek, Gelding, you can get $3.80 for this horse. It's into $3 this morning, so a few people having a bit of a nibble at My Boy Birmingham.
Maybe the car factor again, Professor.
It could well be. So my selections, Gelding, race 8, horse 8, Zeust, and race 9, horse 7, My Boy Birmingham. Now,
I like them, Professor.
The Professor's Parlay, Gelding.
Yes.
2 legs out of 3 again.
Yes.
But at least it wasn't the last leg that brought us undone this time.
No. Anyway, look, we tried, Professor.
The West Tigers, Gelding. I don't like them.
I hope we're leaving them alone, Professor.
I'm leaving the West Tigers very much alone today, Gelding.
I think the famous quote last week was, they couldn't do it again.
Yeah, that's racing.
That's racing. Well, that's rugby league.
That's rugby league. All right, Gelding. Today's parlay, the agreed bet of the day is in race 7, the Australasian Oaks. Race 7, horse 6, My Whisper. Can't go past that. And that's a great anchor leg, Gelding.
Beautiful.
And let's parlay that into the Sydney Roosters to beat the Canterbury Bulldogs. Sydney Roosters 7th. They've won 4 from 7. The colours were lowered last week, but they've got a plus 22 points differential. My Canterbury Bulldogs, Gelding, stone motherless last. 1 win from 7 games. A terrible minus 109 point differential. They've been smashed their last 2 starts. And the Roosters are looking to cement that spot into the 8, as I said. So good value at $1.20, Gelding. I don't know why they're out at $1.20. It should be $1.01 in my opinion.
No, Professor, this is more a tip against your Roosters, more against your Dogs than for the Roosters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Gelding. It is.
Yep.
It is. And let's parlay that into the Melbourne Storm, who are in superlative form after their 70-point. They put up 70 points against New Zealand last week. Gelding, I tuned in just after half time. It was 20. They only had 20 on the board. They scored 50 points in the last half. That's better than a point. That's better than a point a minute.
And not being as big a rugby league fans as the Giraffe is and that, but talking to people in Sydney through various things, and 50 points in a game is a huge score, Professor.
Yeah.
Like that's not that's an event that doesn't happen too many times. But 50 and a half, just, wow. That's unbelievable.
So Melbourne Storm to beat Newcastle Knights. Newcastle Knights, second bottom, only won 2 out of 7, so their form's not good. Minus 66 points differential. It appears to me how far Melbourne Storm. So the parlay, Gelding, showing the juicy odds of 4-1.
Beautiful, Professor. I like it. So hopefully we can get off to a nice little start this week, Professor. I think your turn for the bets and my turn for the parlay.
Exactly right, Gelding. Exactly right. Now, Gelding, what we'd ask is that people who enjoy our program, we'd like them just down below where we are. They'll find a little thumbs up sign for a like. Please like the show, and also you'll find you can subscribe to the show, and if you tick the bell, you'll get a notification every time we're on air. And every time we're on air, Gelding is also tomorrow, Sunday at midday, Sportsfan Radio. The crew's back. So,
looking forward to it, Professor.
It was a great discussion last week, Gelding.
Oh, look, there's always an interesting subject to come up, Professor, and a lot of it is mainstream, but there's also that other factor sometimes you've got to look into things a little bit deeper than just the normal, just off the top of these things. So
exactly.
That's good.
So,
and it's always entertaining to hear the judge's view take, a bit to the left of everything. And then you have the giraffe just, all over the shop. So it's a very entertaining day, Professor.
All right, Gelding, until next Saturday, and that's racing. It's